Hello and welcome to another episode of Movies That Make Us. I'm Jake.
And I'm Val.
And Tracy is joining us shortly, as we've all experienced at some point or another in all of this working from home shenanigans that we've been doing. There's always technical issues. And so he will be on shortly and we will add him to the show as soon as he's here. But in the meantime, we wanted to start because you guys are all waiting for us. So thank you for joining us. How's it going, Val?
Good. I literally just stopped working in the yard. I'm like dirty and sweaty and whatever, but I'm here.
Yeah. That's all that counts, is that you're here. And we get it. Like, it's nice though that people can see that even huge celebrities like us are just normal people like them.
Oh, you're good.
I wanted to talk real quick about the poll that we've been running since last Saturday.
Or was I started it Monday.
Yeah, I think we started it Monday. And this is really the debate that Val's been having for the last couple of weeks. Which show should she binge watch? And that's kind of what we're talking about today, is different shows that we've been binge watching. And it's really come down to these two shows that everybody keeps recommending, Parks and Rec and Community. And so far, our listeners have not really helped make that.
They're being as helpful as you and Tracy, because you and Tracy, and that's why we put it up. So I think it's going for a week. So it still has a few more days, but it keeps going like 50% or 51%. So whatever it is at the end, even if it's a 0.5% higher, I will start watching. I am getting a kick out of the fact that you have antennas growing out of your head right now.
I know that backdrop has worked out really, really well for me.
I like it a lot. I can't get over the dirt on my face.
No, that looks really good too.
Yeah.
I've got some dirt on mine.
You have some dirt right
there. But yeah,
you got to do something really fun this last week, Jake. You got to do a Fan X thing.
Yeah, I did. You got to do it last week for May the 4th, right?
Yeah, I got to do a panel, but you got to do like a wrestling. I didn't know you were that much into wrestling. Tracy!
Hey guys! Welcome to our TV room here, Tracy.
I like this.
Yeah.
We got some new wallpaper.
It's nice. It looks really good. It looks better than the room I'm in, as you guys can all see here. Progress, obviously. But on the WrestleMania panel that we talked about, this year's WrestleMania, I've been into wrestling my whole life. It's not. It's kind of one of those fandoms that even still, like, you don't necessarily advertise to everybody that you like wrestling, because I think it is just one of those things that if you love it and you get it, you really enjoy it. But there's a lot of people that just don't understand the appeal, and I get that. Like, my wife thinks it's the weirdest thing that I'm into, and I'm into some really weird stuff, and wrestling is probably the thing that she thinks is the weirdest. But it was a lot of fun. Travis Tate, Trent Hunsaker, and Chelsea Bloomfield were the other panelists, and it was really cool. They were great.
It was a good panel.
Group. Yeah, and I'd had the opportunity to be with them, and Tracy was on the panel with us at last Fan X, and we talked about some classic wrestling and everything. And so Chelsea reached out to me the day before and was like, "Hey, would you be interested in being on this panel?" And I didn't even ask what time or anything, and just said, "Yes, I'll be there for sure." So, but it was fun. I like that Fan X is doing this. I think it's a great way to continue to connect with fans and continue to have the community connect. I think they've had some good. I mean, they've only had 2 or 3 panels so far. Val was on the Star Wars one that was really good. They had the WrestleMania one. Oh yeah, the Mandalorian one. Mm-hmm. So I hope they continue to do it. And honestly, even if life gets back to normal or whatever that looks like at the other end of this, they should continue to do stuff like that, because I think it's a great way to connect with people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We've enjoyed doing this on Saturday afternoons and connecting with people. So,
hey, I wanted to share something with you guys. I can't give my review yet, but I'll be giving one next week. I went and saw this last night. They did a screening for The Vast of Night at the Redwood movie theater. It was so cool because I haven't been to the drive-in in like 8 years, and it was so much fun. And I have to say it was crowded, and they did like follow a lot of safety. Like you could only park like every other car. If you got out of your car to walk around, like to go use the restroom or go get food, you had to wear a mask, and all of their employees had masks. But it was really fun. A lot of people don't know like the etiquette for outdoor movie theaters because I think a lot of people haven't been to them in a while. But like the minute that you enter into the area that the movie is screening, you're supposed to turn off your headlights. You can do your parking lights so that you can see. But yeah, so that was the only kind of annoying thing, is that movie that I was watching was very dark. Both in story and in cinema
visually.
and so every time like you would acclimate so that you could see what was on the screen, somebody's lights would turn on. But I will tell you my review next week. It's going to be on Amazon on May 29th. And I wish I could tell you right now what I think of it. But I can't. So
spoilers.
We won't press it then. We won't. Obviously, we won't.
But I really want to. I'm just excited to have like a movie like to screen and to talk about and to write a review and all that kind of stuff. But if you haven't gone to the drive-in theater, this movie, again, if you don't want to wait until the 29th, it will be at the drive-in theater tonight and tomorrow night. So it's just those 3 nights, and it's the first showing, so you don't have to like wait for, you know, a really, really late movie. It was a 9 o'clock showing. So
that's not bad.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I think that's the only difficult thing with drive-throughs drive-in theaters with little kids for us, is that the movies start so late, because especially in the summertime, because it gets dark so late. But it's also one of the best things about drive-in theaters is they start late, the kids fall asleep, and then you just drive home and you don't have to like pack them in the car and everything. So maybe this will be kind of the return of drive-in theaters this summer as more movies come out.
It's always been packed, because I used to live over there, and a lot of people go there. Like I just haven't gone in a while, but it's always been packed. I just think it's like people that haven't usually gone in a while are experiencing that now, which is really cool. So, so we're talking about binge shows today, and I have to say, just to get ready for this episode, I made sure to watch a lot of television this last week.
You took one for the team.
I did. As a part of my job for you guys, I took one for the team, and I binged a crap ton of TV. So you're welcome. Have you guys heard of the show? And I think we may have mentioned it on Monday, but Upload. Somebody had mentioned Upload.
Yes, I think somebody mentioned Upload on Amazon Prime, I think or is it Hulu?
Yeah,
Amazon Prime.
It's on Amazon. That's where I watched it, on Amazon. But 2 days ago, I started watching it, and I watched the whole season in 2 days. And I have to say, I actually really enjoyed it. I'm not really into like the VR world. Like I've never actually put on VR glasses before. I think I did it. Well, that's a lie. I did it CES, but it wasn't anything fun. It was like a work tutorial. It wasn't like I got to go do like a video game or something like that. But this show was not what I thought it was going to be. It was very interesting, very easy to watch. It was quick. I think there's only like 8 episodes or something like that for the first season. And then what was funny is I was watching it and kind of working, and on Amazon, it will automatically go into another show if you leave it going. So I accidentally started watching 30 Rock. I've never watched 30 Rock.
Oh, it's such a good show.
I love 30 Rock.
It started, and I was like, okay, like I knew who was on it. I knew kind of what it was about, but I just never got into it when it came out. And so yeah, like 9 episodes later, I'm still watching it. So I guess I'm watching 30 Rock now. So I'm going to...
Liz Lemon is a great character.
Yeah, it is such a great
actors. I can't believe I didn't watch this show when it came on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, And it was really, when it was on, it really was one of the best shows on TV, but I don't know that it ever hit like that mass popularity. I mean, I think there are a lot of people that really enjoy it, and there are a lot of really big fans of the show.
But it wasn't mainstream. Yeah.
Yeah. But I love 30 Rock. It's just very well written. Alec Baldwin is incredible in the show, and Tina Fey, like you mentioned, Tracy, Liz Lemon is one of my favorite characters as well, and
Tina Fey in general, I just love her.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I accidentally started watching 30 Rock.
There you go.
And I finished watching.
That's a good accident to have, by the way.
Yeah.
To fall into watching 30 Rock, it's a good direction to go.
Last Man on Earth this week as well. It had 4 seasons. And I really enjoyed the show, but it was also annoyed the crap out of me because the 2 main characters are so annoying, but also you just can't stop watching the train wreck.
Look away.
That is them. And I can't believe this was a mainstream TV show because there's a lot of like adult content on this show that I mean, I know it was Fox, I think, but still, even for them to be prime time, it must have been a 9 o'clock show or a later show because it was like, there's some really, really like dirty, like even I was watching it and I was like, oh, like I looked around. Nobody's here.
I remember when it came out, we kind of started watching it. And I remember thinking the same thing. Like I was really surprised it was Fox. It felt more like an FX as far as the lengths of humor that they were willing to go to and adult humor themes and stuff. So, but it's an interesting concept for a show.
It is really interesting, especially because they started it in 2015 and it's about a virus that hits the world in 2019 and pretty much kills everyone on the planet by 2020.
Yeah,
my daughter's the one that told me to start watching the show. So we were watching it together with me and my boyfriend. And then I watched the last 5 episodes by myself. And I was kind of glad I did because I would have been really uncomfortable for a few of those episodes with my 18-year-old daughter in the room. I was like,
oh, wow. Wow.
And it ended like in a really like, I wanted to know what was coming next, but that was it. Like I made sure I checked. I went to the TV and I'm like, where is that it? That's the last season. That's the last episode. And I was just like, oh.
If I remember right, it got canceled. I don't think that was supposed to be the end.
No, it wasn't. It got canceled and it was really kind of, it was getting to another exciting place because it was kind of like this in the seasons, you know. They had a lot of really great if you haven't watched it yet and you plan on watching it, I won't tell you like exactly what happens, but I love that they had a whole bunch of like celebrity guests that would just show up out of nowhere and then they die right away. So it was just like, oh, look, there's, he's dead. Oh, look there. Okay. Like they're only on the show for like 5 minutes and then they die. So that was funny.
I'm actually, because you've been talking about it, I started binge watching Parks and Recreation again, and I still love it just as much as I always have.
Leslie Knope.
I also, Leslie Knope and Liz Lemon, 2 of my favorite characters, and I've already said on the show, I'm on the record as saying that they are my 2 celebrity crushes, Amy Poehler and Tina Fey. I just think they're great. I also started yesterday Avatar: The Last Airbender. The old Nickelodeon cartoon, which I've been wanting to watch for years, but it is finally now on Netflix. And so it's available there. And I think that's as of yesterday. So I was like, oh, I want it. And especially with the Dave Filoni ties and everything, because that's where he kind of started. And so, and it's, so far, it's pretty good.
I've heard good things.
Yeah. And Noel says that you are correct, Tracy. The network did cancel the series.
And he did spell my name right.
Yeah, he mentioned that earlier. Like his first comment,
job,
he said he spelled your name right, unless you changed the spelling, which you didn't.
So I introduced Lisa to What We Do in the Shadows, and we've been watching season 2, but she had never seen season 1. So I filled in most of the gaps, you know, the main characters and stuff. But going back and rewatching season 1, and that show is just sublime comedy, you guys. There's some language, but oh my gosh, it is so funny. It's a mockumentary series. It's like a fake documentary crew following around a bunch of vampires who live together, or roommates. Colin Robinson is an energy vampire. He feeds not by blood, he feeds by either boring people or by annoying people. And he's like, there's a lot of us. We're the most common kind of vampire there is.
And like then the other vampires don't like him at all.
They hate him.
Right?
No, nobody likes Colin Robinson. Yeah. And then this last week, Mark Hamill did a cameo on the show as Jim the vampire. And it was just hysterical. It was great. Mark Hamill was having a blast with it.
Yeah. It's been interesting looking at some of the responses that we got on our Facebook page about what people are binge watching. And by and large, most of the responses were some older shows. Like we had one that said Supernatural, and I think Supernatural, this is their last season going on currently, or I don't know, but I think they've said that like 3 or 4 times throughout the series.
I think this
like,
one's official.
Okay. Yeah. Is it official? Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
And then someone mentioned so that was from Tracy Tyler. Jessica mentioned she's restarted The Sopranos. Someone mentioned Letterkenny, which I don't know what that is, but I've heard the name, but I don't really know.
It's a Canadian
show. I know that it's not a popular opinion. Everyone told me to watch it, and I tried to watch it, and then they're like, well, try and get past these couple of episodes. And then, so I'm like, okay, well, I just watched 3 episodes thinking it would get better. And then I skipped along, and it just annoys me, and not in a good way. I know a lot of people like it. It's not my jam.
I haven't seen it. I've heard the same thing, Val, but I've never seen it.
Yeah. It's,
I don't know that one. I just don't know. Jake Dahl was from our one of our friends over at Late to the Party with Travis Tate. He's one of the co-hosts. He mentioned Letterkenny. And then Beverly on our video here mentioned going through Psych. And then she mentioned The Gallery on Disney Plus, which is the Mandalorian behind the scenes. With the name though, with them calling it Gallery, I'm excited to see like if season 2 is going to be about something else, like behind the scenes, or if they're going to do because I would love that. I would love this same kind of deep dive into some of the other stuff that they're doing. And then she mentions, I'm guessing Prop Culture. She says Prop Nation, but I think it's Prop Culture on Disney.
That one's a good show.
Prop Culture. Yes.
Yeah, I've enjoyed that one. Disney Plus makes it a little bit harder to binge watch their new shows because they do only release 1 episode at a time, which I like. But with Prop Culture, they released like 6 episodes all up front, and I didn't mind that either.
I've really liked the One Day at Disney.
I do
that
too.
One's been
That's
really good
much
too.
fun. I want to be a scuba diver at Disney. I don't even know how to dive, but that would be like a really fun job. Like you don't even think that has to be a job, but then when you watch it, you're like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, great show. If there are CW fans, some news this week that I talked about on my radio show is that they've decided not to put any new content on the CW until 2021. Except they are going to show the final season of Supernatural. And so there's 9 episodes for the final season of Supernatural, and that's it. They're going to put everything in 2021. So if you're a CW fan, they're not just going to pile a whole bunch of stuff at the end of the year. They said that's not what they want their plan to be. So in 2021, they'll start spreading it out. But Supernatural fans, which I know there are a lot of them out there, I've never watched that show either. Sorry.
Me neither.
That to me is amazing, Tracy, that you've never watched it, but I'll.
Yep. Anyway.
Marvelous Miss Maisel. I love that show.
Yeah, Noel mentioned that one, Marvelous Miss Maisel.
I just finished binging it for the 3rd time. I have seen it all the seasons for 3 times now. That show is it just makes me happy. just, yeah, I started watching it. I think like 2 months after I started going through my divorce, and somebody's like, Val, you've got to watch this show. And I'm watching it and I'm like, this is like, we're having the same life, but hers is a lot cooler and she has way better clothes than me. But there was similarity.
But other than that, we're exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly the same. Josh 12s says he's watching Defending Jacob on Apple TV. I have not watched a single thing on Apple TV. I don't know. I know they've got the new Jason Momoa show on there, but I am not familiar with any of their content. And I have
I got Apple TV so that I could watch the morning show, which has Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston, and it's basically a show based on the Today Show when Matt Lauer got let go because of everything he was doing. It's kind of on that, and it was a very smart first season. I don't have a subscription anymore because I just had it for that, and when it comes back, I'll probably get it again, but that's the only thing I've watched on there.
Well, and now I was looking into this to kind of prepare for today's show, and you mentioned CW. Well, Warner is coming out with their new streaming service that is in conjunction with HBO. So HBO Max is at the end of this month, I believe, is when it launches.
The 26th.
Yeah, I was looking at their lineup because I've never had HBO. And so I don't know a lot of their original shows. I haven't watched a lot of their original shows. I'm not trying to be that guy who's like, I've never seen whatever. I just haven't.
I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Right. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying I haven't. So on the surface, I wasn't totally interested in HBO Max, but then you look at the rest of their lineup, even outside of their HBO originals, and they've got some good shows going on there. Obviously, Friends is the big one that everybody, that left Netflix, and that's kind of going to be one of their big draws. Big Bang Theory, I think, is going to be another big draw. And the one that might actually get me is Doctor Who, which is not available through Amazon Prime anymore, but it is going to be on HBO Max as the streaming service. And so I think there's a lot of stuff there. And it looked like, and the reason I brought up CW, it looked like some of their shows like Batwoman, I don't know if that's on CW or if it's just in the same Arrowverse or CW. Whatever. But that one is going to be on there. But... Yeah. So I don't know if like the newer CW shows that are still going aren't going to be on there, but like Doom Patrol is going to be on there, which I know is a DC one.
I've heard that one's pretty good.
I've heard that too, but I didn't invest in DC extended universe viewing stream service, whatever it was called.
I've heard the animated Harley Quinn is quite good as well.
Yeah. Again, I've heard Doom Patrol and Harley Quinn were both really good. Titans was kind of a mixed bag that some people liked, some people didn't like very much. But HBO Max, it looks solid. And it looks like they've got a lot of kids programming.
Yeah, on Amazon I have HBO and Stars and CBS All Access, and I love HBO has some great shows. Big Little Lies is a great show that I watch on there. Of course, I watched Game of Thrones, but HBO has a lot of really great documentaries.
Yes. Succession is really good on HBO.
Yes, Succession is really good. I need to finish watching that. And of course, on Stars, Outlander, which is one of the shows I watch on there. And I got CBS All Access so I could watch Picard. And I need to catch up on that because I've only watched 4 episodes. So I need to finish watching that.
Yeah.
So.
I started Picard, kind of the same thing that I watched 3 or 4 episodes. I think it's a slow burn, and so I've heard that toward the end it gets better toward the end of the season, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at the beginning of the season.
It wasn't bad at all, but I had like other shiny things that were kind of more exciting, I guess, that pulled me away. But I definitely thought it was a good show. It just didn't keep me there as much as some of these other more, I guess, salacious shows. Maybe that's what I'm into right now because our lives are so slow right now because we're not doing anything that I need things that are just a little more exciting. That's why it was really easy for me to get through Upload again, which I didn't think I was going to care for, but I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jake.
Tracy. No, I was just going to say, I think you're right. I think the exciting stuff is more what I'm drawn to right now as well. But go ahead, Tracy. What I cut you off.
Jumping back to when I first got on and you guys were talking about wrestling. So, and Jake knows this. I don't really watch the new stuff, but I grew up on the old classics like Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Superfly Snuka and Ultimate Warrior and stuff like that. And there's a series that's called The Dark Side of the Ring, which goes into some of the darker stuff that's associated with it. And so there's, Jimmy Snuka was accused of murdering his girlfriend and accidentally, but
actually did.
Yeah. So it's an interesting show. But it had one of my favorite quotes of all time. And this is going to get slightly mature, but I'm going to keep it PG-13. And he's talking about this promoter because in the early days, Jake,
I'm like, I don't have a bleep button on the live
stream.
No,
I'll be good. I'll be good. So back in the 80s, wrestling was very regional and there was not the big national group. And Vince McMahon was trying to create the WWF and create this national brand. And I don't remember the guy's name, but he was also a promoter and he kind of saw the same thing happening and he was trying to do the same thing, but he wasn't nearly as successful. And so they rented out the MGM Grand in Vegas for a show and they put it live on pay-per-view and he was so excited. And then they only had like 6,000 people in the whole arena. And so it was kind of this disaster, but he just was so full of his hubris that he was like, no, this is great. So anyway, so they're telling this story about how the police get called to his hotel room and they go up to this hotel room and they open the door and there are two lady escorts and this guy is covered from head to toe in like some kind of Crisco, some kind of lubricant of some kind, head to toe. And there's like bags, like gallon-sized bags of cocaine spread around the room. And these two ladies tell the cops that he was trying to hurt them. And he said it's because they were trying to steal his cocaine. So when the police went to try and arrest him and they're interviewing this policeman, and he's like, it was so difficult because this guy was just greased up. And during the whole process, they get him to the floor. He's resisting arrest. He ends up having a heart attack. So they call in the EMTs. They're trying to save him. He doesn't make it. He passes away.
Is it because he was too slippery? They couldn't like get him onto the table or into the car, just slipping out of their hands.
Probably. So, but here comes the quote. So then they cut to one of his friends and he goes,
well, it's not even the good part yet.
Yeah, right? This is so crazy. And so he's talking to him and they cut to the friend and he goes, well, he died doing what he loved. Cocaine and hookers. And it's just deadpan, just completely deadpan. I'm like, that is the greatest quote.
So this is one of the great things about professional wrestling, especially in that era, the 80s and into the 90s. They were really trying to gear it and especially Vince McMahon was, as a family-friendly kind of event. But behind the scenes, this is what wrestling was like behind the scenes. And it
probably still is to a large extent.
I'm sure it is. The things we don't know about.
But yeah, that one just killed me. He was totally deadpan. He died doing what he loved.
Yeah.
Hookers and blow. Hookers and blow.
Speaking of professional wrestling, Noel mentioned Billions. I have not seen Billions, and the only reason, and here's the segue, Becky Lynch, who is one of the big female wrestlers, big as in popular. She's not huge, but she was on Billions, I think, at the beginning of the season, and that was a big deal because that anytime there's any kind of mainstream crossover with professional wrestling. But Billions, I've heard good things. Have either of you seen Billions?
I haven't. I don't have Showtime.
I've seen like an episode when it first came out, and I mean, it didn't suck. It just didn't stick for me, probably because I was already watching too many other things. But it's in my list of things to watch. So, how's our poll going? Let's see.
Let's
I'm gonna check our poll.
Okay, well, you're pulling that up. I also like Glow on Netflix.
Yes.
The Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. That's with Allison Brie. That's a fun show. Mark McMahon.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It's 50-50 again.
Yeah, it is completely not helpful at all. I mean, we appreciate everyone's input. I don't want to say anything, but yeah.
I can't watch both of the shows at the same time. Like I
just alternate episodes.
I think it has one more day, and then whatever it's at, again, even if it's at like 0.5% higher, I'll watch one of them. And if not, I'll flip. Like whatever our Monday show, when our Monday show comes up, if we have to flip a coin, we'll flip a coin.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's fair. I like that.
Did you guys watch the 2 Disney sing-along shows?
I did.
Yeah, I totally watched those.
Okay.
Yeah, because you talked about it on the radio. Totally.
I totally logged in the morning after those shows onto YouTube and got caught up and watched and read the recap reviews because I did not watch those.
The first one I really liked quite a bit. We watched with our kids the day after because we do Hulu, and so we don't get to see it live. We don't have live TV, but the next day we watched it, and I felt like after watching it, I was like, yeah, this is what we needed right now. This was good. It was fun. The second one, I didn't feel as strongly that way, but I think part of it too is as you start adjusting to kind of what your new normal is. Like the first one was a couple weeks ago where I was in a different spot than I am now. And so now watching it's like, okay, well, I've seen this and this was great, but it's kind of the same thing. But it did start with the Muppets singing, which was kind of fun.
That's always
good. And it had Miss Piggy on it. So anytime they get the Muppets involved.
There's a really stupid show on TV, and we covered it on my radio show, and it's celebrities watching TV. And so we did a live stream where Mike and I had our listeners watch us watch celebrities watch TV, because that's how ridiculous we think the show is.
It's so bad.
So very meta.
So they had people like Tyra Banks and the Osborne family, and
the famous Australian cook,
Wozniak. Yeah. Him and his wife. He shouldn't wear shorts on TV, by the way. And like some people, like, you wouldn't know. You're like, who? I mean, I think I kind of know who that is. And what I was thinking it was going to be is that we're going to watch celebrities watch one show. Like all the celebrities are going to watch Indiana Jones, and they're going to talk about it and react to it. And we're going to get to watch Indiana Jones with them or something. Mm-hmm. No, it has them watching like all these different shows and like they'd make a comment and it would bounce to someone else and then bounce to another show. And it was just like, I don't care. I mean, I kind of wanted to see what some of these people's houses looked like, kind of like on Cribs. But I'm like, how real is this? Like, that's not really her room. That's probably her guest room. Like some of the guys were wearing like suits, and I'm like, who wears a suit while they watch TV? Right. So it was just really stupid, but it's still on TV because people are watching it.
And they need content. I mean, I work at a CBS affiliate here in Salt Lake, and we're showing Paramount movies every Sunday. They're doing repeats of game shows in the morning. I mean, it's just, there's no fresh content. So,
yeah. I mean,
I'd rather watch old good content than stinky new content.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. But one of these shows that I think did work pretty well, Parks and Rec did a reunion where they were all doing like Zoom video, Zoom meetings, and that was fun. And honestly, like I was almost crying at the end because I needed to be with my friends, and I felt like I was with my friends because I love that show. And my wife made fun of me because that's what she does when I cry at movies and shows, and it's fine. We have a loving relationship. It's totally fine. And we do have one. Like it's totally fine. But yeah, that one was really good, and it was really well done. And it was just fun. And they were very creative. It even called out like when they would have a married couple and like one spouse was in one room and one spouse was in the other room, and they would talk about why aren't you guys together on the same video feed, and they would always give a good excuse for it, like Andy locking himself in the shed, or Anne self-isolating because she's a nurse and she's been helping out with stuff. So cool stuff like that. I enjoyed that one. But
that
by and large,
is now at 52%.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with either one. You really can't.
Really can't.
Both of them are genius. Just different shows, but
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my friends on Facebook, when I shared that we were talking about this today, Carolyn mentioned Star Trek: The Next Generation, and I think that deserves a shout out because that is a great show and everybody should watch it all the time. It's fine.
I'm an old school Trekkie.
I know. It's fine.
Wow. I was disappointment in your voice there, buddy.
I watched your episode of Cast Off, by the way, from our friend Craig Price. I went back and watched both of your episodes.
I wanted to do
pressure.
Star Trek. So Cast Off, our friend Craig Price, you basically recast a movie and justify your decisions, and then he awards points based on who he likes. And the three of us, had kind of an idea that I was going to pick all Star Trek characters. And I thought, knowing Craig, he's not going to like that. And I kind of wanted to win. So I went a different route, and I almost won. And I actually got to the tiebreaker, and we had to pick a double feature. And I thought about Indiana Jones. I almost went with Indiana Jones. And instead I went with the Last Firefighter. Lost.
I know, when you didn't do Indiana Jones and he's got his big Indiana Jones Funko Pop behind him, I'm like, should have been Raiders of the Lost Ark. And when you said Last Starfighter and he said, I haven't actually seen that, or something like he didn't care for, it's like, oh,
game over.
Sunk. Game's over at that point. But I have not been on the show yet. The next one that he's doing is I don't want to say what it is because I don't know that he's advertised it yet, but it's just one that I'm not familiar enough with that I felt comfortable doing.
That one that he's doing is going to be so hard to recast.
Oh yeah, because like Star Wars and Avengers were both like really easy to recast. Like,
yeah, but there's one actress that I just don't know who you would pick to replace.
All I know is that the most stressful thing about being on Craig's show, Matinee Heroes, which we've all done, is the whole recasting. And so to make a whole show out of it just sounds very stressful to me. But I'll do it one of these times.
It was a lot of fun. I really appreciate Craig having us on.
I would love to see him have just all three of us on together. I like how we all stopped because there was like a giant comment that just came in.
See, Noel works in the industry, so he knows the Los Angeles Hollywood film and TV production is completely shut down due to COVID-19. Present time, there's not an expected startup date for new seasons. The unions and the producers have to come to terms for creating a safe working environment for cast and crew. Makes perfect sense. It absolutely makes perfect sense. Totally I'm on several Facebook groups here for Utah filmmakers, and we don't we don't do nearly as much as the Hollywood LA market, but a fair amount of production gets done here, and they're asking those same questions. And how do you do it? And how do you open back up? And how do you keep people safe? And what about insurance? And there's a lot of questions to be asked for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. And, you know, I think recognizing that at some point we've got to figure out a way to go back to work, but we've got to figure out a way to do it safely for everyone involved as much as we can. And for stuff like that, there's not an easy way to do that. Go ahead, Val.
Alanis Morissette is going to she was supposed to be here in concert, but she postponed her show because of this. But she has a Broadway show called Jagged Little Pill to deal with her album, and it's 25-year anniversary of Jagged Little Pill. But but on Facebook, and does that make you feel old? On Facebook and YouTube, next week, I think it's Wednesday, she is going to star in her musical Jagged Little Pill, and they're going to show it on Facebook and YouTube and raise money for actors, performers. There's like some very specific charity because and also people that work in theaters to show the movies, and that work in actual arts theaters, because like, I mean, everything is shut down. So not only the actors, but the crew, concessions, like everything. And so that's going to raise money for that. So you guys were speaking of people trying to get back to work and they can't. So I would share that. Also, you can stream for another 12 hours on Prince's YouTube channel. His concert from 1985, if you want some Purple in your weekend. I watched it. It was for 72 hours. They're streaming one of his concerts, and I watched some of it. It's pretty amazing. So
that's one artist that I wish I had seen live.
Yes.
I knew Prince, I knew the hits, but I didn't truly appreciate his musicianship until after he passed, which is unfortunate, but at least I've been able to catch up. But yeah, what a loss.
Yeah, he was an amazing talent, an amazing performer, and one of the few. And this sounds like I'm belittling his contribution, and I'm not at all. But one of the few halftime shows during the Super Bowl that I remember just stopping and watching and being like, "This is just amazing." Was his, because usually with the halftime show, even with the big act, it's just it's mediocre at best. But his was incredible. Yeah, because that's
There's
just a showman that he was.
A documentary on his halftime show that you can watch. I believe it was on Netflix, but it's also on YouTube. If you Google Prince halftime show, and it's a behind the scenes of that specific halftime show and how it actually was raining during Purple Rain. And they were they wanted to stop the halftime show because it was dangerous. And he's like, no, this is like the best thing ever. Yeah, and he sang the Foo Fighters. Like at his halftime show sang Foo. Like I was just like, I love Prince and I love Foo, and it came together, and I was like addicted to Prince. I listened to his, like there was 2 years of my life in high school that I just was all Prince for me. So yeah, I mean, Prince is one of those that his albums, but yeah, so there's a lot of Prince on YouTube for free that if you want to stream and get that in this weekend, you can do that. I was going to say, what about movies that should maybe be streaming instead of going to the big screen? I kind of talked about this on one of my other shows, but so Disney Plus, or I talked about this. I was on Patrick's show yesterday, Gaggle of Geeks, and we were talking about Disney's show that keeps getting moved back, and I just went blank.
Was it the New Mutants?
Yes. So the Mutants got purchased. It was made in 2016?
I believe so,
Sony, by Sony, and then Disney acquired it through its acquirement of Fox and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it was.
And they were going to do some reshoots. Yeah. Now it's supposed to come out maybe in July or August. At this point, I'm over it. I'm done. And I just think they should put it on Disney Plus because I don't think it should even be on the big screen. It looks like it's not quality of something that should follow. What was the last Marvel movie? Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't my favorite Spider-Man.
And I think it's interesting. I agree. They should just put it on Disney Plus because they're going to revamp and relaunch the X-Men titles anyway. And New Mutants is an X-Men tie-in because it has to deal with the mutants and everything else. And it's like the next generation of X-Men and everything. And so I would rather see them just do their reboot of X-Men and how they're going to bring them into the MCU and do something with New Mutants that way. So...
Well, it's interesting. I read an article about how Disney Plus is in a way struggling because they were supposed to have this new content like Loki, the Witch, Scarlet Witch, and Vision. They were supposed to have Captain America and Falcon, and that content's not coming. And so they spent a record amount, like $75 million, to purchase Hamilton. And they were going to release that theatrically, but they're releasing it on July 3rd. And they said because with Mandalorian, they're not having more episodes until October. So they felt like they needed something to keep people, to get people talking about Disney Plus and coming into Disney Plus and staying with Disney Plus. That'll be a big draw. Hamilton will score big points for them.
I think that was also a shareholders movement as well.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Because stock now, finally, for the last 3 days, Disney stock is going up. The last time it went up was the day that the Mandalorian behind the scenes came on, and then the day that Shanghai, like it went up a little bit. That did, you know, the day they announced Shanghai tickets were going on sale, and so they've got this huge thing that's Hamilton. And I think it's great that they're putting it on Disney Plus, because I think there's a lot of people, me included, that have not been able to see Hamilton. I can't afford to go to New York. When it came here, I couldn't afford to go here. And so I think it's great to put it in the homes of people that couldn't otherwise see it. But I also think as soon as theaters open, they're totally going to have like a 2-week thing of Hamilton. Screens are going to be sold out. And then 2 weeks later, they're going to have a sing-along, you know, where people can go to the theater and sing along with Hamilton. Like they're going to do what Disney does, because this could have been like this big moneymaker for them. But I think it is going to be a money holder for them by putting it on Disney Plus. Stock goes up. More people get Disney Plus. So I think it was a really, really good play by Disney for sure.
Is it's coming on Disney. I'm definitely on Disney Plus. I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to throw away my shot.
If I had glasses, I'd be taking them off my face right now, buddy.
I appreciate that. That means a lot, actually. We do need to talk. We haven't mentioned it yet today. Some sad news. I want to wait until we were kind of done chuckling there, but Fred Willard has passed away.
Yes.
With his stuff, if you've seen Waiting for Guffman, A Mighty Wind, like Best all of those movies, Best in Show, he is in those movies. He is hilarious. He's incredibly talented. Age of 86, natural causes, it looks like, died at home with his family. Reunited with his wife of 40 years that passed in 2018. But we'll miss him, and we'll miss his performances. Go back this weekend and watch one of those shows that he's been in.
Those shows are
just great.
So brilliant.
Funniest.
He was another one of those timing people, you know?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, to be able to do the timing, but doing it in improv form is just so difficult. And he made it effortless.
Yeah, he was incredible. So sad news today. And I think as movie fans, we can't not talk about someone like him passing and not mention it, because I think it matters. So going from that, though, Colin did mention here that he has distributed the poll to the masses, he says, and Parks and Rec just took the lead at 62%. I'm pulling it up right now to kind of see where it's at, because we're getting close to the end of our time here, and it is 60 to 40% right now for Parks and Rec.
All right, I'm going to have to rally the community fans.
All right, you have 24 hours, man.
Rally the community.
Exactly. That was a better dad joke. Good job.
That was a good dad joke. That was better than the Hamilton one. It was.
Hey Jake, do you know when a joke becomes a dad joke?
Well, anytime I say it, but when?
When it becomes apparent.
That's all the time we have, folks. That's it. It's not going to get better than that. It's not going to get better.
Val's just coloring in her own tattoo.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Stop thinking. You guys are awesome. Hey, let's give a quick shout out to our friends at Watchtower Coffee and Comics.
Yes.
They have partially reopened. They have a brand new location out on Main Street,
really
just directly west of their old location on State Street. They're doing all the precautions. They are doing social distancing. They've moved their tables apart. They're doing a partial opening, and props to them. Mike and Corey, you're fantastic. They've been doing coffee delivery, bags of coffee. And if you get a chance, you guys, I picked up a jar of their Tongan caramel.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Holy schmoly. I had just like a little bit on a spoon to test it, and I'm like, I can't eat this whole thing right now.
And when he means a little bit on a spoon, he means like a big amount. That's my like peanut butter spoon.
The serving spoon. We love Mike and Corey. Watchtower is a great place. We used to record there, and they reopened. We will again. Yeah, they opened their new location and then the whole world just went crazy.
Yeah, like 2 weeks before this happened. Yeah.
Them, along with so many small businesses, local businesses that are now able to open right now, find ways to patronize those businesses, go out there, spend the money that you can. And we understand not everybody can, and we get that. But if you can, find a local business to patronize and help them out. Do it safely, do it smartly. But do it and find ways to do it. And Watchtower is a great one. We love Watchtower very, very much.
Yep, absolutely.
What are we going to talk about Monday?
Monday or next? Are we talking on Monday, or are we going to do next Saturday again?
I know.
Because
I don't know.
I know this will be our episode for this week. We feel like Saturdays we get a little bit more people, but we want to do a movie for next week. We're gonna do a good one, a fun one. We haven't decided which one yet, but it will be good. And we're gonna let you guys know on Monday which one it is, so that you can prepare and watch it. Because that's what we do, right? We talk movies and like a book club. So if you watch it with us and then meet us back next Saturday at 2:30, we'll talk all about it with you. Yeah, and we want to hear your questions and your comments as we talk about this movie. So it'll be fun. So that's what we're going to do.
I like this
plan.
Other
than that, it seems like a good plan.
I can deal with this plan.
You'll probably see us like in between now and next Saturday. Val, you guys have got to be doing something on Multiplane. Do you have anything coming out this week?
Yes, we do. We have a really fun episode, and we have a special guest host that's going to be on with us that we are going to announce this week. We're going to be talking prop culture, and we actually have an Imagineer coming on the show.
Wow.
Very cool.
We will make that announcement probably Monday or Tuesday. So the show is Thursdays at 3:30 on our Facebook page, and then it will go up on our website. But so if you haven't watched Prop Culture, you need to watch Prop Culture on Disney Plus because we're going to be talking about it, and we've got someone from the Disney coming on the show. So it'll be a lot of fun.
That's cool. That's cool.
Awesome. Yeah,
and
we love Multiplane.
Check that one out.
Yeah, it's a great show. So, but other than that, we will see you guys all next Saturday. We will let you know Monday. I will get the post up that will let you know what we're watching for next Saturday, so you can be prepared. And because we want to hear from you, we love that. That's been our favorite thing about doing the podcast this way, is being able to interact with everybody else, which has been great. You can follow us on Facebook. Obviously, you're here, so you know that. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as to the podcast itself. And thank you so much for listening, watching, and we won't see you at the movies.
Nope.
Bye.
Bye.